who was the best Hokage? My personal favorite is Tobirama, who by the way is not racist, he's just misunderstood. Anyway, in this video I'm gonna objectively find the answer to who's the best Hokage, in my opinion. I'm only gonna talk about the first 5 Hokage because I never watched Boruto and I don't plan on it, seeing how they did my boy Gaara. Like, who greenlit this design, bro? He doesn't even look mad, he just looks constipated. Anyway, to answer the question of who the best Hokage is, first we have to answer the question of what makes a good Hokage. Hokage is the title given to the leader of the Hidden Leaf Village, but I'm sure you already knew that. But did you know the position was originally meant to be like a kingship and passed down from generation to generation in one family? Yeah, I know you didn't know that because my source is I made it the fuck up. The title of Hokage is usually reserved for the strongest and most respected ninja in the village. It was created by Hashirama, who took the role as the first, being one of the founders of the Leaf Village. The Hokage is responsible for the day-to-day affairs of the village, such as paperwork and assigning missions to the village's ninja. They spend most of their time in the village, but as we see multiple times throughout the show, if the situation requires, they'll be frontline on the battlefield. One of the biggest responsibilities of the Hokage is to live according to the will of fire, which is a philosophy that states Konoha is a family and that the Hokage is chiefly responsible for protecting that family. Overall, the title of Hokage comes down to 3 main traits: leadership, battle skill and strength, and compassion for the villagers. Now with these 3 traits in mind that defines what it means to be Hokage, I'm going to go through each Hokage's story and at the end rate them in each category. Starting with, of course, where do I even start with Hashirama? Like I said before, he was one of the founders of the Leaf Village and the first Hokage. He has probably the coldest nickname in the whole show, the God of Shinobi, which he got because of his insane strength. Hashirama created the Leaf Village with his closest friend at the time, Madara Uchiha, and had a vision of it being a peaceful and prosperous nation. He offered Madara to be the first Hokage and said with that position, he has to protect people with all his might. While Hashirama did end up getting the position of Hokage, this shows his thoughts about the position and what it meant to lead the village even before it came into fruition. Under Hashirama's leadership, the village did blossom and all the foundations of community and the ninja system were set. Hashirama was probably the most idealistic Hokage out of all of them, fighting to find a way of peace in the ninja world. This idealistic view, however, is what caused him and Madara to fall out. Madara would eventually leave the village and fight Hashirama again. If you had no idea how strong Hashirama was, then what did you do, watch the show with your eyes closed? He beat Madara in a 1v1 when he had Eternal Mangekyu and the Nine Tails under his control. Hashirama's main strengths were his huge chakra reserves, wood style, and sage mode. During his prime, he was probably the strongest ninja ever outside of the gods of the universe. For being the first and having no one to teach him the ways of leading the village, Hashirama did a great job. He was able to get the village off the ground and set the foundations for what was to come. During his time as Hokage, he was able to bring into fruition the nation of clans coming together as a family he always envisioned. This would all change, however, when Tobirama took over. Now, for my personal GOAT, Tobirama, aka the second Hokage and younger brother of Hashirama, aka Mr. Make Konoha Great Again. After the passing of Hashirama, the title of Hokage was given to Tobirama, who was the complete opposite of Hashirama. Where Hashirama was more soft and open to accepting everyone, even past enemies like Madara, Tobirama was more stern and let's just say he wasn't a fan of a certain clan. Because of this, Tobirama created the Hidden Leaf Village Police Force and left the Uchiha clan the responsibility of running it. On the surface, it seemed like a promotion in rank for the Uchiha clan, but Tobirama did this to make them easier to monitor. The other problem with this is that it forced the Uchiha clan to move to the outskirts of the village, leading to a sense of isolation coming from them. Where Hashirama mostly repaired the relationship with the Uchiha clan, Tobirama's policies were fuel to the fire. Even though Tobirama messed up the relationship with the Uchiha clan, even after Hashirama specifically left him instructions to not do that one thing, he was still an innovative Hokage. He created the Ninja Academy, the Anbu, and the Chunin exams, all events that fostered a closer community between the clans. He also came up with the idea for and led the first 3-man squad. Similarly to Hashirama, he planned on forming alliances with other nations such as the Hidden Cloud Village. However, during the first Great Ninja War, the Raikage was attacked and left near death by Genkaku and Kinkaku. When enemy forces surrounded Team Tobirama, leaving them with no way to escape, he made the decision to pass the title of Hokage to Hiruzen and sacrifice himself so the rest of them could flee. Tobirama did have some questionable ideals as Hokage, mainly being racist, but other than that, he was a great leader in every sense of the word, and not only lived but died for the people. In terms of battle strength, Tobirama is the creator of so many powerful jutsu we see in the series. He invented the Shadow Clone Jutsu, Flying Raijin, and Edo Tensei. Basically, Naruto, Minato, and Kabuto owe their careers to Tobirama. Overall, Tobirama, similar to Hashirama, laid the foundation for not only a lot of policies, but also jutsu that are used by many throughout the show. Now for this next Hokage, let's just get this done. I'm sorry, but if Hiruzen is your favorite Hokage, Hiruzen, you can't be trusted. No, seriously, you can't be trusted just like he can't be trusted. Kushina made a dying request to Hiruzen to take care of Naruto, to which he said, "I'll keep my promise."
So that was a fucking lie.
It's hard to say he represented the will of fire when his own grandson was trying to kill him every single day. Not to mention, under his leadership, one of the most powerful clans to ever exist was wiped out, and Itachi asked the third to look after Sasuke, but do you think he did that?
Nope.
No, he didn't. And you know how I know he didn't? Because if he did, Sasuke wouldn't have left the village to train under the guy who just killed him. Now, while the third was a deadbeat, he did also lead the village through 3 great ninja wars without too many significant losses, which sounds impressive until you realize the Leaf produced some of the strongest ninja of all time, so I don't know how much credit can solely be given to Hiruzen. As far as combat strength, he knows all 5 nature releases, which is something only a handful of other characters can do, giving him a wide range of jutsu for just about any situation. His combat strength is his biggest selling point and really only selling point for making a case for being the best Hokage, but enough of talking about this old man, let's get to a real GOAT. Minato is a special case. Overall, his character is goated, but he had the shortest time spent as Hokage, only making it to about a year. Because of this, it's hard to measure his ability to lead the village. We can, however, look at how he handled the Nine Tails attack and see he definitely lived by the will of fire. He was able to fight Obito and teleport the Nine Tails away from Konoha. His care for the people as Hokage is shown by him making the ultimate sacrifice to protect them. He thought Naruto could be the child of prophecy that protects not only the Leaf Village but the entire world one day, so he decided to seal Kurama inside of him. Without hesitation, Minato used the Reaper Death Seal, knowing he would lose his own life in the process. He gave his life for the people of the village and wanted them to see Naruto as a hero, which is why it pisses me off even more how much of a deadbeat Hiruzen is. Anyway, as far as strength, Minato is easily top 2. I think only Hashirama beats him. He mastered Tobirama's Flying Raijin technique and also created Rasengan, and that combo alone makes him top tier in the entire show. Minato was so strong he had a flee on order sight from other nations. Basically, if you were an enemy and ran into him, you were fucked. It makes sense though, he stopped an entire Hidden Stone invasion solo during the Third Great Shinobi War. Overall, Minato didn't spend a significant time as Hokage, so he couldn't really make much of an impact politically. However, he still saved the village from arguably its biggest threat ever. He's also easily one of the strongest Hokage just based off his signature jutsu. Honestly, if it wasn't for Tobirama, Minato would be my favorite Hokage. Now for the last Hokage, who I think is the most underrated. In my humble, always right opinion, Tsunade is extremely underrated as a Hokage. She's the granddaughter of the first Hokage, making her a descendant of both Senju and Uzumaki clans. Being one of the Leaf's legendary Sanins, she's also considered the world's strongest female shinobi and its best medical ninja. Tsunade's time as Hokage led to huge improvements in medicine as well as medical care for active shinobi. She implemented the one medical ninja per squad rule and revolutionized medical ninjutsu and how it's used in Konoha. When it comes to living by the will of fire, Tsunade does not disappoint. Even as Hokage, she was never ducking smoke. When pain invaded, not only did she use all her chakra to protect every single member of the village from his almighty push, but after it, she still went to fight him, showing she's willing to die to protect the village. She also went to the front lines in the 4th Great Ninja War and fought the biggest aura farmer in Naruto, Madara. There's no question, if it came down to it, Tsunade would sacrifice her life to protect the village. As far as combat skills, she mainly uses ninjutsu for healing herself and others. She fights with taijutsu, and given her insane strength from being part Senju and Uzumaki, her taijutsu is one of the best in the show. She was able to fight Madara's clone for over half a day, and let's be honest, that's an accomplishment alone. Overall though, Tsunade's leadership helped advance the village, making the shinobi forces more well-rounded by having more medical ninja available. Her willingness to fight whatever threat in order to protect the villagers shows her compassion for the people, and her healing and taijutsu are some of the best in the world. Now, with all that being said, it's time to rank them. Starting with leadership, Hashirama is a perfect 10 out of 10. I think it's disrespectful to give him anything other than that when he's the one that started this whole shit. Not only did he bring together so many clans, but he also got them to buy into the idea that Leaf Village will one day be a great nation. Tobirama, on the other hand, gets a 7. While he did do things that increased the strength of Konoha, like creating the academy and the tuning exams, he was also racist though and had some discriminatory policies. Hiruzen gets a 4 for leadership, unsurprisingly, not only did the Uchiha massacre happen under his watch, he also allowed Danzo's corrupt ass to stay in a position of power in the shadows. Yeah, it was bad. Minato gets an 8 for leadership just based on how he handled the Nine-Tails situation. I can't give him a 10 because he wasn't Hokage long enough to actually make a meaningful impact leadership-wise. Tsunade gets a 9 for leadership, increasing Konoha's strength as well as being in the front line when the village is in danger. Now, in terms of their compassion for the people and how they represented the Will of Fire, Hashirama gets a 10 again. Once again, I think it'd be disrespectful to not give Hashirama a 10 when he literally invented the term Will of Fire. Tobirama, on the other hand, gets a 6 here. The only reason it's not lower is because the changes he made to the village, like adding the academy, brought different clans together. This changed people from valuing their clan above all to valuing the village and everyone in it like a family. Hiruzen gets a big ass 0 in this academy, a goose egg. He completely abandoned Naruto and had him living off microwave noodles and spoiled milk after promising Minato to take care of him. But I do have to give him credit, at least he's fair because he neglected Sasuke too after he lost his entire clan. I really do understand why Sasuke went with Orochimaru after he killed him. Anyway, Minato gets a 10 here, can't beat someone sacrificing their life for the village. Tsunade also gets a 10 because, like I mentioned before, she handled the pain invasion by using all her chakra to protect the people and was still willing to fight. Now, as far as combat, do I even have to say it? Hashirama gets a 10. I don't think I have to explain that one. Tobirama gets a 10 for the fact that he's the creator of so many relevant jutsu. Hiruzen gets a 10 too. Yeah, something about him being the god of shinobi, I guess. Really wish he was useful in the fight against the Nine-Tails. Maybe Minato wouldn't have had to die. But what do I know? Minato gets a 10. He mastered Tobirama's signature moves and created one of the strongest jutsu in the entire show. And last but not least, Tsunade also gets a 10. Her healing makes her almost impossible to kill and her raw strength is crazy. Now, adding up all the scores, in 5th place we have, and this is no surprise to anyone, Hiruzen with a score of 14. In 4th place, we got my boy Tobirama with a score of 23. He was a cold ass character, just not the best Hokage. In 3rd place, just 1 point behind 2nd place, we got Minato with a score of 28. 2nd place, we have Tsunade with a score of 29. And of course, number 1 is Hashirama. There's just no way to rank the Hokage without him being number 1. That's my list. Remember, my opinion is right, yours is wrong. Now, but for real, let me know in the comments your ranking for the Hokages. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, drop a comment down below. I love you, and I'm out. Peace.